Hey, we got some folks coming in. All right. Hopefully you guys are ready to have some fun with painting tonight. Denise, Vic. All right. Christy, hello. Hello, good evening. We're going to be doing a pretty cool oil painting tonight. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I've kind of an idea, but as these things tend to happen, they can change as we're going along. So hopefully you find something interesting, get your paints out, join along, or just chill and see how this turns out. Hopefully it'll turn out pretty good. Give us a follow, and you can see we've got merch. Woo! You can find the link in my profile to go buy a shirt if you want one, or a painting that's a poster, that sort of thing. All right, so what we're going to start with, I have in my mind a little bit of an idea tonight. I want to do kind of a space galaxy type scene. I'm thinking kind of like the Northern Lights, but instead of the Northern Lights, I'm thinking we're going to have a galaxy. So we're going to start. I've already got the canvas dry. This is the black gesso, and we're going to just put our liquid clear. This is, and I hope you guys can hear me, this is the Bob Ross liquid clear medium, and it's a little difficult, believe it or not, to put on if you've never done it. You have a tendency to put too much. And that's not very good, because if you put too much, when you're trying to paint, all the colors are going to slip around and it's just going to mess everything up. If you've got questions, ask them. I'll try to. I do get TikTok gifts, and I accept them. Thank you. I can use that to buy more paint or brushes or whatnot. So yes, those are definitely cool. But if you've got questions, feel free to ask, and I will try to answer them. Like I said, hopefully you guys can hear. The last time I tried to do a live, there was something wrong, and the sound was not very good. So what I'm doing here, this is liquid clear. It's very similar to the liquid white, except you probably could tell by the name, it's clear, which makes it pretty hard to put on, actually, because you have a tendency to overdo it. And if you're just starting out, what I would suggest, if you're going to use this, is get yourself some blue shop towels. And you can get those at Walmart, or in the automotive section. You can get them at any auto store. They're not very expensive. And what you can do is you can wipe off the liquid clear, because you're most likely going to put way too much. Hey, thank you. And if you put too much, it's just going to turn into a mess. You're going to start making mud, and you're going to be upset. So get yourself a blue shop towel. After you've put the liquid clear on, just wipe it off. Whatever is left is going to be good enough. All right, so let's continue this. And if you're wondering, well, how do I know if I've put too much? That's actually pretty easy. You can look at it from the side and just run your finger through it. And if your finger's leaving a trail, it's too much. Okay? Definitely less is more with the liquid clear. Okay? Less is more. All right. Scrub that in. That looks like it's pretty good. We'll give it a try to even it out here. And I think we're in business. All right. This looks pretty good. Give it kind of a little bit much there. All right. That should be good. Got the brush hair out. All right, then we're going to clean. This is a Bob Ross 1-inch brush. If you've seen Bob, you know we clean them off in odorless paint thinner. Do not use soap and water. I mean, you beat the devil out of them. But if you use soap and water with his brushes, you're going to be in Pain City, Agony City. Hey, hello, Alan. You're going to be in Agony City, so make sure that you don't use... I don't do classes yet, Zombie, but I am more than willing to do classes on Zoom unless you're in my home city. I would be more than happy to help out with that. Just shoot me a message. So now we've got our liquid clear on. I think we're about ready. What I'm going to do, like I said earlier, I'm thinking of like a space kind of a mountain, maybe like you can kind of see the Milky Way up in the sky there. So it's going to be kind of a little bit of a fantasy painting. So we take a 1-inch brush, and just so you can see what colors I'm using, I've got my palette here. Hopefully it doesn't put too much glare. Let me see. Okay, there we go. That's titanium white, phthalo green, phthalo blue, Prussian blue. That's the Bob Ross Mountain mixture. That's dark sienna, almost forgot what it was, Van Dyke brown, alizarin crimson. We've got some yellow ochre, and then this is Indian yellow. Indian yellow is a very cool, awesome, transparent color. And we're going to want to put transparent colors up here first. So you got to make a decision now. You got to figure out where's your horizon. Maybe a little bit above halfway. And you can just put the Indian yellow on here. Now, when you first do this, the first time you do it, you're probably going to freak because the yellow is going to have a little bit of a greenish tint to it. Hey, thank you, Liza. You can purchase posters. We've got merch, all that stuff. And you know what, zombies, if you're interested, just shoot me a message and we can work something out on maybe doing a Zoom class. That'd be pretty cool. But when you first put this yellow down, it's going to have a greenish hue to it, and that's because there's blue in the black. Don't worry. When we put the white up there, it's going to look really cool. All right. So we've got some green, and then some green. We've got some red or some yellow. Geez, I'm getting all sorts of confused here. Now we're going to get some of that alizarin crimson on the 1-inch brush. I'm not going to really clean it. Okay. I can't even pronounce that word. Hello. Let's see. I'm going to put some alizarin crimson here. And the crimson is going to have, when it hits that yellow, it's going to have kind of an orangey look to it. And that'll be cool. Get a little bit more of the crimson. And don't overthink this too much. Sometimes, as Bob said, it's those happy accidents. If you try to do this too perfectly, it's probably not going to come out. Thank you for all the gifts. I appreciate that. That'll be used for brushes and stuff. And Nayam Neo, thank you. Appreciate the compliments. We're going to clean off this brush because we're going to get into some blue now. And again, odorless paint thinner. Beat them in the bucket and then just beat the devil out of that brush. We're going to get another one here. We're going to move now into a little bit of the phthalo green. And I like using phthalo green in these sorts of space paintings. It gives it like just a haunting look. You'll be able to see that here in a minute. So we'll put some phthalo green, up in here. And then we'll put in some blue. This is going to be phthalo blue, maybe with a little bit of Prussian blue. Just kind of mix them all together here on the brush. It's not going to hurt. Like I said, don't overthink this too much. If you do, you're going to not have those happy accidents. And then we'll clean this brush one more time. Just setting this painting up is going to make you're going to be an expert at washing these brushes by the time you're done. you're going to be a lot calmer because you'll get to beat the devil out of the brush several times. All right. Now, with that said, let's get crazy. Hello, Lucas. Hello. I have no idea who you are, Naya. No idea. What we're going to do is we're going to take a fan brush. Now, this is a Bob Ross number 6 fan brush. It's the bigger of the two that he has. And just get it here in the titanium white. Load this bad boy up. All right. Get him full of paint. And now, here comes the fun part. Just up here in the yellow, you're going to kind of start. And what I think we want to do, if you've seen the Milky Way, it kind of has like 2 bands. When it starts here, and then this is where the horizon is going to be. And then it kind of comes up like that. Okay? Now make sure that once you've done this, you don't come back here because you've got blue on here. If you do it here, it's going to turn green. Okay? And I don't know if you want that. If you want that, then that's fine. But I don't know if you do. So if you don't, that might be a problem. Blitzby, Tanya, hello, hello. If you've got questions, feel free to ask. I'll check the camera out every now and then just to see if you've got any. Papi Chulo, okay. Let's go. I'm going to load it up again with white. I just dry cleaned it this time. And then up here, kind of, I don't know, just kind of feel it in. Kind of feel your way through it, just like that. All right. You notice I almost came back. That would not be good. All right. We'll set that brush down. Take a clean, dried brush. Make sure that this step is very important. Hello, Deb. This step is very important. When we're going to start blending, make sure that this brush has no paint thinner in it, because the liquid clear on the canvas, the paint thinner and the liquid clear don't get along, and it can create some pretty cool effects, but the problem is you may not want those effects, and I don't want those tonight. So I hope everybody's having a good time. If you are, you can check out the profile. New merch, hey, we got shirts and stuff like that. I don't touch any of that merchandise. It's drop shipping, so you don't need to worry like I might forget to send it to you. It's all automatic. You can get posters and things like that. If you check out the Etsy store, you can actually buy some of the actual paintings, and as long as they're dry, they'll be shipped to you within 48 hours. This particular painting will be up for sale tonight as soon as I'm done. But it's going to take a few days because it has to dry before I can ship it out. All right, anyways, enough of that. Let's just take this 2-inch brush and just kind of tease this up a little bit, okay? I'm going to tease this up. And it's going to create all sorts of cool effects. And I'm very gently kind of doing this. And you can kind of turn it. And it doesn't really matter too much how you do this. But what I want to be careful of is I don't want to mix the 2 bands necessarily. Okay? And so we're just going to kind of tease it a little bit. Tease it, you can twist it around however you want. Now we've got some paint on it, so knock off some of that excess paint. I've got some paper towels here, and I'll just kind of dry clean it there, and then we're going to kind of come back here and just kind of tease it up, just tease it up. Now, if you get something that you think, when you're painting, is too bright, feel free to change it. You can bring that dark color back in that you used at the beginning. And we're just sitting there just like that, kind of tease it, tease it, tease it. Once you get into that blue though, don't go back down. Otherwise, you're gonna have issues. You can kind of pull that paint up if you want, and pull it over here. And now you're seeing up in here, this is the phthalo green, and then you're getting into the blues. These are Prussian blues and phthalo blue. So hopefully that'll kind of look kind of cool. Then just take it, I'm gonna beat the devil out of them. All right, now we're gonna take our fan brush. Again, this is a Bob Ross number 6 fan brush. Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully everybody's having a good evening tonight, and if you are, like our live stream. It is greatly appreciated. Gifts are as well. I use those for painting supplies. All right, now I'm gonna kind of come back in here and I'm gonna kind of put this in a little more. Just like that. Dry clean it on a paper towel, get some more of the white. And just kind of do that. Just mix it up. Just smoosh it in there. All right. Fire it in there, I think, is what Bob Ross's mentor, Bill Alexander, used to say. Just fire it in there. Don't be afraid. All right. All right. Guess I'm showing my age there. So I remember both being on TV. Fan brush is not as much fun to beat. All right. Now for this, I'm going to get a 1-inch brush because I want to make sure, hey, Moon Kid, I want to make sure that this is a little smoother and a little more delicate, okay? When I mix this up here than what the 2-inch brush will give. Okay, so we're gonna kind of moosh this up a little bit. And this is okay. Doesn't have to be photorealistic. That's not what we're going for here. This is just an artistic interpretation. So don't feel like you need to have a photograph next to you and make it look perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. That's not what we're really going for tonight. And just kind of moosh it up. Now be careful, don't get that blue into the yellow. Beat off that excess paint. And at this point, what you could do, if you want, and I think I want to, so I'm going to, is you can take some white paint and you can put some stars in here. Now, this part is really the interesting part. Because, if you weren't with us earlier, I said I've put some liquid clear on the canvas. And if you use paint thinner hey, I'm glad you're enjoying the palette. If you use paint thinner, chances are you're going to get some crazy effects. But they're not going to be the effects you wanted or that you were expecting. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to try to get some liquid white. Unfortunately, my liquid white is a little bit hard to open. All right, that looks good. Let me get a script liner brush. And all you really need to do is put it in like this. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate that. Those are all helpful. If you want, you can get the shirt. All that stuff helps us buy new paints and brushes, and if you've painted, you know it's not cheap. Just kind of come up here, just put some stars in the sky. That's one way you can do it. Another way, and it's faster, so we're going to do it this way. You can get some paint on your brush. Just going to use another, this time it's another number 6 fan brush. I'm going to get my knife, and you can kind of do it this way. And this is much better. You're going to get some drops down there. Don't worry about that. We'll cover that up. But you're going to get stars in the sky. And it's pretty cool. Very easy way to do it. And like I said, if you get some big drops down here, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. It's going to look like there's all sorts of stars in the sky tonight. There we go. All right. Now, we've had fun with that. I'm going to take a paper towel, and it looks like I might be out of shop towels. What the heck? I was just talking about shop towels earlier. Looks like I might be out of them, but that's all right. I'm just going to dab this paint. Try to get some of it off. It's not that big of a deal. Now down here we want to put, well, I want to put dark colors. So, because I'm thinking that this is going to be a winter scene with a mountain. So I'm going to take mostly Prussian blue with a little bit of phthalo blue. I'm going to get it on my brush. Hey, how's it going, Miss French? How are you doing? You know what, Miss French? I don't know, if you want. I figured you might be at work tonight. There you go. You are in charge. Now what we're going to do here is I'm just going to put this blue down right in here. This is mostly Prussian blue. A little bit of phthalo blue that I had on the palette mixed in. This will help make the snow look really cold. I want this to look like a really cold Alaskan night. Okay? I'm going to take this brush, or these two brushes, because now they're both dirty, and we're going to wash them out. And again, as you know, we use odorless paint thinner. Bob's brushes do not like water, so please don't use water. If you use soap and water, your brush is going to look like my beard. And that's okay if that's what you're going for, but I bet you're not going for that. All right, now, what we want to do is I'm going to put a mountain here. I love doing mountains. So we're going to take a little bit of the Bob Ross mountain mix, which I don't always use. A lot of times I'll just make up the mountain color. But if you don't know, Bob Ross ink, they sell the mountain mixture in a tube. So it's just easier. It saves you some time. Let's kind of come up here. And I don't know, we're going to put this mountain. Oh gosh, he's going to live right there. He's going to live right there. That's where he's at. Just be brave. Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. There's nothing, not going to hurt anything here. If worse comes to worse, we can take it off and try it again if we don't like what we're doing. All right, so we get this mountain color up here. And make sure, and this is something that I notice a lot when I see, don't make your mountains look like M's. They shouldn't all be, the peaks shouldn't be at the same height. If it looks like M's, then you're not gonna be happy with it. All right, so we're gonna kind of try to make sure we follow our own rule here. All right. Doesn't need to be a super big mountain. See that dark color, that light color that we put down earlier is actually helping us with this dark black canvas. Hello. If you're enjoying this, please feel free to shoot us some likes or some gifts or whatever. That all helps with painting supplies. All right, now, with a clean, dry 2-inch brush, make sure, again, and I've probably said it 500,000 times, don't have any paint thinner in this when you've got the liquid clear, okay? I'm gonna take this brush and I'm gonna pull that paint down, okay? Pull that, we're trying to get off all of the excess paint, okay? If you don't, it's going to make the next step much more difficult, okay? So make sure that you get all of that excess paint off. And this will also allow you to kind of start shaping your mountain and figuring out where do you want the highlights and where do you want the shadows to go, okay? And if you're looking here, and sometimes this has happened where I'll let I don't like that, it's not dark enough for me. Put some more in. There's nothing saying that you can't do that, okay? All right. Now, I'm gonna step back from it. You should always step back and look at your painting from about 6 feet. Mackenzie, hello. Tina, hello. All right, step back, kind of look at it from 6 feet. See if you're happy with it. If you are, then we're good. I don't know if I like this peak. Kind of want it a little more square. Like that. There we go. I don't like my mountains to look too perfect. I don't like them to look all like that. Okay. Let's see. Add a little more here. I think kind of a little bit of a peakish guy there. All right. I'm also doing that because I felt like some of this here wasn't dark enough. All right. That should do it. Take the brush and pull. Take the brush and pull. And get that paint down there. Hopefully you didn't just hear that bark. That was one of my knucklehead dogs. I've got a whole tribe of miniature schnauzers that they all think they're Rottweilers. And they're not, but don't tell them that. All right. All right, so now it's time for the fun part. Now we're going to get serious here. We are going to do our highlights. And for this, I would suggest putting a little bit of the mountain mixture into your white, just to dull it down a little bit, okay? I mean, it is nighttime. You know, how much white are you really going to see? Probably not going to see, it's not going to be like, bam, crazy white, okay? And do the little peak first. Take your knife, and it should be very loose, very, very loose. Just come up here. Just kind of pull. Just pull. Okay? Now, one of the things that I found difficult is that I always tried to copy Bob. I would watch Bob Ross and I would try to copy him exact. You don't need to pull all the way down just like he does. Remember, he is painting with a time limit. He's got I think it was 28 minutes. You don't have to paint in 28 minutes, okay? That's why he's doing those long pulls. You can do short pulls, and you're gonna get all these breaks, okay? But it's important that you have a very light touch. And I can tell you that when I first started, gosh, I thought I was light. And then I figured out you're not even close to being as light as what it needs to be for this. So keep that in mind. Thank you for all of the gifts that you're giving. I appreciate the hearts and the likes and all that stuff. It really does help. So thank you. Now, one of the things that you might want to consider when you're doing this, we shouldn't have like a straight line. Okay, so I'm kind of seeing the highlights like this. I come in like that, and then like that, and then maybe like that. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, but you don't want them to be like a straight line. Okay, now I know as soon as I say that, somebody's going to find a picture of a mountain where they're straight, but it just doesn't look as good in art. Okay, you get your little roll of paint. I don't know if you can see that right there. It's kind of hard. Kind of come up here. And it's very light touch. Just a very light touch. I think Bob said something like, let the canvas take what it wants to take, and it'll give you back the rest. Okay? That little roll of paint, though, very important. Just like that. And you can kind of connect that if you want. I like it when it has all the holes and stuff. It makes it look like there's rocks that are pointing up out of the snow, and it just makes it fun. So, all right, now what we're gonna do, I'm gonna take some of that white, I'm gonna mix it with the blue, so we have a shadow color. Probably need more than that. Now, a lot of times when I'm doing highlights, now, when I'm doing mountains, highlighting and shadowing, for the shadows, I like to use the small knife. I think this little guy doesn't get a lot of love, but if you make friends with these knives and stuff, you're gonna just be so much better. And there we go. Starting to get your shadows right there. Hello, everybody. I hope everybody's had a good Monday. I know Mondays tend to be, they don't have to be though. And we can come in here. And just kind of highlight this guy. That's a very light touch. Okay. Very light. Come over here. And kind of pull that. And suddenly, your mountain has some shadows. Now you can go back and play with it as much as you want. Maybe add things or change things. Always step back and kind of see it from 6 feet away or so, and then realize that it's going to kind of cool off. It's not going to look quite the same tomorrow as it does right now. Okay? I kind of joke, only halfway joking, that the painting elves come out at night and they're going to fix your mistakes. Okay, so if you're painting and it's your first one or it's your 10th one and you're like, gosh, I just can't get whatever, don't fret. Wait till tomorrow morning and see. And you'll be surprised at how much different it looks in the next day. All right, so let's kind of come this way. Just adding a few little touches here and there. Little things that I see that I'm not necessarily enjoying. Right in here. I don't like that. Too many straight lines. Don't like those straight lines. There we go. There we go. Much, much better. And then I'm going to put some white here, but I'm doing this not because I necessarily want there to be snow, so I'm not doing it very carefully. I'm going to use that to create fog and mist, okay? So if you check now, just kind of come that way. There we go. All right. Take your, that's not a good one. That one needs to be washed. All right. Make sure that brush is clean and dry. He is definitely dry before you do this, because again, if it's got paint thinner, I said it 5,000 times already, you don't want to do it with this brush, okay? We're going to take it and very lightly, we're going to start tapping. And we're kind of following the angles in the mountain. Okay? And the purpose, there's two purposes. We want to kind of create mist and fog, like it's starting to kind of creep up that mountain. But it also is going to create a separator. What I mean by that, you'll see in a minute. But this will separate your mountains from your next set, which will be trees. And so it's going to create depth in the painting. If you don't do that, you're going to be kind of unhappy. Okay. Now this, this is really light. Just kind of teasing this up a little. Trying to take the tap marks out. Okay. If you've just joined us, thank you for joining. Follow the channel, profile, however you want to call it. And any gifts, somebody asked earlier if I accept gifts. Yes, I do. That really does help pay for art supplies. All right. Now, we're going to get a clean dry, I hope. Yes, it is. Clean dry fan brush. We're going to start coming forward in our painting. So I'm going to take that blue that we used as the highlight color, but I'm going to add some white to it. All right. I want it to look like it's little distant trees. And so if we just go with dark colors first, we're not going to have that depth and that distance. Awesome. Thank you for the chilies. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right. So watch. Come up here. Now you're going to see why this was important. It was important because it's going to allow us to do this. And it's going to look like thousands and thousands of little trees are just back in here. Just like that. Very quick, very easy. Come back over to the palette, get yourself some more paint as it runs out. These are tap and crash trees. You can kind of do some that are taller, some that are shorter. You don't want them to be all the same. So like here, I can already tell I did some that were the same. So And come in there. And then kind of do that. But you want to be careful if you're doing this for the first time. We have a tendency to sometimes put them like this, like you're making a fence. Don't do that. That's not what we're going for. You don't want them to look like they're fence posts that are just hanging out there. Okay, and it's a very easy fix though. You just get some more paint. And bada boom, bada bing, we're in business. All right. Now, I'm gonna set that little brush down. Gonna get our blending brush that we used earlier. Got a little bit of paint on it, that's okay. You can dry clean it on a paper towel. And you're gonna do this. Just gonna beat the devil out of this guy. And that's going to create that mist and that separator that we were talking about. And then you can kind of come up like that. I know what we could do. Another thing you can do, get a little bit of white. It doesn't take much. And suddenly, you've got some water back there if you wanted to do that. That's how you do it. Just like that. And suddenly, you've got water. Now, what you probably want to do is come up higher than what I did. Boom. Got instant reflections. Very, very easy. Now, thanks for the roses and chilies. Hello, everybody. If you've got questions, feel free to ask. I'm trying to pay attention to any questions that are on here. It is a little difficult, but I'm trying. Now, as we come forward in the painting, you want to make these darker. Okay? And even though I just put those reflections there, I'm going to probably cover it up. But we know how to make them, so it's okay. That's fine. So I'm going to get a bunch of phthalo blue and some of the mountain mixture in here. Maybe some Prussian blue, some phthalo blue. Maybe a little bit of alizarin crimson. And we're just going to kind of make a dark color. And this brush is really, almost dropped the palette, really loaded, okay, full of paint. And then you can come back in here and we can decide now if we want another layer here, maybe in front, we can say no, maybe we'll keep this. And you know what, I think that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna change my mind here. I think we're gonna keep this as water. And then, I know what we'll do. I know what we're gonna do. All right, what the heck? I may regret this, but let's see. Hopefully not. Take your white, get just a little bit, and I do mean a little bit, of your liquid white. And this will thin it down a little bit. And then get your little roll of paint. Just a little smidgen of paint on here. And you can start kind of scratching it in and making it look like there's all this kind of frozen water stuff back there. Okay? Just like that. And keep going. Got all these frozen things happening here. And it doesn't take much. And if you get one that you don't like, if you just keep going over it, it's going to disappear. Okay. Then, some red on that one. All right. We can get some more dark. I want this to be darker. So I've darkened that brush up. I don't know if you can see it. Hello, hello. If you've got questions, feel free to ask. And thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you. Watch what we're going to do here. We're going to start putting another plane, but we're going to make these bushes. Kind of bushy, grassy things. And this one, he's going to come out right in here. And so that's going to push all of that back and make it look like there's something way back in there. You can just pull this kind of back. We don't know what that is, but it looks kind of cool. Maybe the water's kind of freezing up there. I don't know. If you don't like it, like I said, just take your knife, wipe it off on a paper towel, and it'll start to disappear. Just like that. You could even, if you really didn't like it, you could even come back in here with some blue and punch that dark color back in if you wanted. That's all right. There we go. Something like that. Just like a beach back in there somewhere. Okay. Now we've got our dark color. And I think what we should do here is we're going to have that come here, and then we're going to have a piece of land come out here. Maybe something kind of like that. And then it kind of comes there. Okay. So, same deal. You can load that brush up with some dark colors. Get some Van Dyke brown and mix it in there with the alizarin crimson and the blues. And it's gonna really be a little bit of that phthalo green. What the heck? We've got all this stuff on the palette, we might as well use it. All right. So look at how full of paint this guy is, all right? And like I said, I kind of want it to come down in here, so this piece of land is going to come this way. Now there's a little bit of light color that's in there, but that's okay. That's all right. We're just going to put all this land in here with this fan brush, just like that. Okay? And if you want, you could even put a tree here. And maybe we'll do that. What the heck? Still got a bunch of dark paint here, so let's use it up. I'm going to use the fan brush. And we can put a big old evergreen tree right in there. Well, he's there now. Just be brave. Don't worry about it. Just put it in and come on down. You just kind of touch here and there. And you're going to just kind of push harder and harder as you come down, and you're using more of the brush. And you get yourself a nice little pine tree or evergreen or whatever. I'm sure there's some technical term that I'm supposed to use, but I'm not. And then load your brush back up again, get it to a nice sharp edge. Hey, thank you, Joe Exotic. Yes, it's kind of the Milky Way, and there's some stars up here, and at least that was kind of the idea. We're going to put another tree here. Maybe he's a little bit crooked. Must be a politician, this guy. Uh-huh. And then you just touch to the side. It's just kind of like, I think somebody once called them Z trees, and back in the day when Bob Ross was actually teaching classes. And that is kind of a good way of remembering it. And you just kind of put a little bit of middle there. And there you go. The dark part is not really the important thing. It's really the light, the highlights that are going to make all of this pop out. And then you got another one here. Let's put him, maybe he's a little bit taller than that other guy, but not as tall as the big guy. And once again, and if you want, one of the ways you can do is you can fill in the middle first. And I hope you can hear me. You can fill in the middle first, and then you can kind of extend to the side as you see fit. And you've got yourself 3 little trees. Now, one of the things that I actually like to do, I haven't done it in a while, but maybe we'll do it here. You can use your knife to make your trees. Hello, Ella. You can use a palette knife to make the trees. And it's not really hard once you make friends with the palette knife. I'm going to use the little knife, and I'm just going to go over where I put those. Get a little bit of paint. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of black paint right there on the edge. You just kind of come in. And it's going to definitely give you a different feel to these trees than what you would achieve with your brush. Now, Bob didn't do this too often. He did it in one of the early episodes. But he really didn't do it often because, at least not on TV, because it does take a little bit longer. We're on TikTok. We're not under a time constraint like he was. So we're gonna have fun with this. And as you go down the tree, you just get more paint. Just kind of let the canvas take what it wants, and it's gonna really come out pretty thick. You'd be surprised at how thick that paint is gonna be, but that's okay. That's okay. And you can just kind of do your thing here as you wish. Kind of come back and forth if you want, just the way the brush did. Okay? Just like that. Get some more paint. And again, it's just on the tip of the knife, because you're kind of painting with the tip of the knife. And we're just going to bring it down the tree. And as you go further down the tree, you're going to get more paint on the tree, okay? And you can kind of come back and forth if you want. Remember, these don't have to be perfect. As a matter of fact, if you're trying to draw them, I've discovered it's much more difficult. Thank you for the likes. Thanks a lot. Just keep coming down that tree, just like that. And as you get to the bottom, you're going to get more paint on your knife. And you just kind of sweep more horizontally, just like that. And we got one more to do. Good advice, don't put too much green in these trees, certainly not sap green if you're doing a winter painting. If you mix in some phthalo green, it's probably not going to hurt. But you definitely don't want sap green. The only thing that's worse than yellow snow is probably green snow. So you don't want that. That would be bad. Somebody might think you were trying to say something. This is New Year's Eve or New Year's morning. And just kind of come down. Again, just like that. And these trees, when they're done, when they're dry, man, it's going to feel like bark and like a real tree. It's going to really have that rough texture to it. All right. Now the fun part. Oops. Get paint on the carpet. The wife's going to kill me. Now the fun part. Now we're going to put the highlights. And our light source was kind of like right here. And so for this side, it's going to come this way. Okay. This part is similar to when you do the happy trees indeed. When you do the mountains. Very soft touch. Get a little roll of paint. It's coming this way. So our lights are going to be over here. And this is, I can't tell you, I almost don't want to breathe. Let the paint pick up what it wants, and it's going to give you back what it doesn't. And that's what you're going to use now to go on. Again, get that roll of paint. Come over here. But be careful. You notice I'm kind of purposely not going directly in the middle. I'm zigging and zagging. And I think that's important. You don't want to have it perfectly down the middle all the way. And then once again, just like that. Come back. I'm going to get into that kind of bluish mountain highlight color that we had. And you just do the exact same thing. And next thing you know, if you can do this with a knife, I don't really see too many people who do their highlights with the knife. So, boy, you're going to be the bee's knees. And like I said, when these dry, oh, they are incredible because you can see them lifted up off the canvas. If you look at it, it really does have that 3D look. And then when you touch them, they're just fantastic. And I'm trying to pay attention to the chat, but if you've got questions, feel free to ask. This painting will be available as soon as I'm done on our Etsy store. This is an 18 by 24. We've also got merch. I'm wearing one of our shirts now. Already got paint on it, great. Let's just come over here. And again, this is a very light touch. And boom. Suddenly you've got these happy little trees that were made with a knife. And most people that I see online, I don't see too many people who are doing the pine trees with the palette knife. So that's one of the things that I really enjoy doing. Let's go. We got to do something here. First thing, we're gonna just kind of give those trees a little bit more definition. And now, this is a newer 1-inch brush. Make sure he's dry. If you just joined, one of the problems with what we're doing here, thank you, Betty. This is a we've got liquid clear on here. And so if you come up here with paint thinner, it's going to cause all sorts of weirdness, okay? So just be careful. What I want to do is get some liquid white on my brush. Not a whole lot. And we're going to add that to our white paint that's on the palette. And this guy is full of paint now. I don't know if you can see that. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you for all the gifts and stuff. I appreciate it. I'm gonna come up here. Sorry to have my back to you. Hopefully you can see this. And it's ever so light, the touch. I mean, that is the absolute lightest touch in the world that I'm doing right there. And then you just come back, get all these little bushy things that just look like lace. You could even turn your brush to the side and you're going to get kind of like grassy things. Wipe your brush on a paper towel, add just a little bit more liquid white if it's not sticking the way you'd like it to. Pull it one direction through the paint, and you should have a whole bunch of paint. It should look like a big mess. And what's happening is that you're actually going to get the bushes onto the brush. And then come over here, and you've got all sorts of little bushy things that are just you got to be careful that you're not sliding your brush. And then if you want, you can, doesn't really matter too much, you can kind of do something like that. Take your 2-inch brush, come back over here, and ever so gently pull down, and then brush to the side, and it looks like got all these little reflections in the water. Very nice. And we can do the same thing over here. Just bring your brush back through the paint. Get a whole bunch of paint on here. And hope everybody's having a good time. Thank you for all the gifts and stuff. And hopefully everybody's getting something out of this. Maybe these bushes are just like that. And all these little bushy guys over here. And again, I think I said it earlier, you can take your brush and you can turn them sideways, kind of like that. And it'll make all these neat little grassy things that are kind of right there. And then you can bring them down. Doesn't have to be perfect. And just kind of make it look like there's grass there that's covered in snow. Take your big old 2-inch brush, pull down very gently, and go sideways, and boom, you got reflections. Now, if you're going to do that, you're going to want some land, so we'll take a little bit of our dark sienna and our Van Dyke brown, just a dark brownish color. Get that on the knife. going to put that just right in there. That way there's some land that these guys are sitting on. Otherwise it kind of looks weird. You know, you're like, what the heck are they? Where's the land? Then some more. Looks like I didn't get enough that time. Some more. And just put some dirt here. Soil, dirt, whatever. Mud. That's kind of probably frozen, truth be told. That's going to put all of your land there now. All your bushes, I should say, are on something. And I feel like this should be bigger. Hopefully I'm probably in your way. Sorry about that. There we go. Just like that. All right, clean that off. And now, I mean, we're getting close to the end, but we're not there yet. We're not there yet. If you'd like to purchase this painting, it'll be up in the Etsy store, probably in about 30 minutes after we're done. Maybe less. Depends how quickly I can get it up there. And what we're going to do, try to get out of your way there. Just put some snow right there. Snowy highlights. Get some more snowy highlights. And all that thick paint, is when it dries, it's just going to look so cool. I think you're going to enjoy that. All right. Got that. Wipe the knife. One last little thing. And get a little bit of that paint. And I want to kind of put in some water lines here. There we go, just like that. Boy, that paint is really thick up in there. There we go. And there you go. Got yourself a nice, interesting little painting. Now, I've noticed, I don't know why I did that, because we don't have any paint thinner here, but a lot of our stars have kind of turned fuzzy. If you don't like that, you can, if that happens to you, you can just kind of take a brush and fix that by turning them into clouds in the sky. And you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I think I do. And what's going to happen, there's a lot of dark color here, and it's going to kind of turn that way. And we can just once again come back in here. Just going to make it interesting. There. I don't know why they were doing that tonight. That's liquid white. It should not be doing that because there was no paint thinner in it, but if you just kind of brush it, I don't know how much you guys can see that, but a lot of it is just kind of disappearing, turning dark because there's like really dark blue up here. This is Prussian blue up in there. So we're just going to kind of do that. If you wanted, you could probably leave one of them as a shooting star or a comet or something. What you can do is take a liner brush. This paint is still pretty thick. And you can come in here and just put them kind of dot. Okay? Hope everybody's had a good evening. We're not quite done yet. Put a couple of stars up in here. Maybe There's a shooting star right there. What the heck? Just kind of put them wherever you think there should be some stars. And one of the things that I do like to do, and I'll do it with this painting, is before it's dry, what I'll do is I have some diamond dust glitter, and if you sprinkle just a little bit, it looks like there's ice crystals in the air, and I'll go ahead and do that. Yes, I do, Jade. If you check out my profile, I have a link. You can buy the shirt, you can buy posters of some of my paintings. You can also go and buy this painting. It'll be on the Etsy store in about 30 minutes. I'll take some pictures and I'll post it. So if you're interested in purchasing it. Now with this painting, I have to tell you, it's wet, so it's going to take about 5 days or so before I can ship it to you. But I will ship it to you as soon as possible. Like that painting on the wall, that's for sale. Some of those, I don't know if you can see them down there. Those are for sale. Those are in the Etsy store as well. Now we've got one last little, probably a couple of little details. Maybe we should put some kind of grassy things coming up in some of these areas. Kind of looks to me like that would help it. You can kind of just and this is another very light touch. I used to think that I was doing a light touch, and then I figured out when Bob said light touch, he wasn't joking. It is a very light touch. You can just do some of that. Little grassy things. All right, now the most important part. Time to sign. I don't do what Bob did. If you ever watched Bob Ross, or if you still watch Bob Ross, because he is on YouTube,